Good afternoon, DJ Wonder Chrissy, and today we're gonna talk about what are they feeding those migrants? It's Friday, 12:15. The afternoon version of Migrant Mayhem is here, and we got some nice French cafe music for you to get you in the mood for a wonderful filet, maybe culturally significant or appropriate meals as they're feeding in Chicago, or is it just a bug burger? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Come along as we check out Migrant Mayhem. It's happening all around, folks. Happening all around. Stand up, look around, and if you can't see it, you're not looking good enough. Let me bring the music down and we will start the show for today. So there you have it. Migrant Mayhem, DJ Wonder Chrissy. Like, share, and subscribe, folks. Migrant Mayhem on behalf of Land Cruiser Midwest. Help our channel grow. It matters. Like, share, subscribe, and comment too. Tell us what you're seeing in your area when it comes to the migrants. So the first video of today, as we've talked about in other shows, Chicago's heading down the same path as New York City. We're using the same templates, the same rules, same regulations. And here we have Mayor Eric Adams talking about food waste that's going on in New York City and how some of the migrants aren't liking exactly what they're getting for free, right? I mean, hey, you know and I know, people can be very, very picky, but when it's free, folks, you get what you get, right? Don't complain. So let's see what he has to say about things going on in New York City.
$12 billion to handle the migrant crisis in the next 3 years. I know you want this all to come from the feds, and you have been in D.C. 10 times now, pleading your case. Are they listening, or do you think maybe they're making you kind of go away quietly with an FBI investigation?
Well, first, I can't speculate on the outcome of what the federal government is doing or is not doing. But what I am going to do is continually head to D.C. And each time I've gone, look what has happened. Now the coalition has grown. At one time, it was Eric Adams going to Washington. Now we have the Chicago mayor, the Denver mayor. We're hearing from the governor of Massachusetts. There is a chorus that's now building up. Was started as I was a solo voice last year. Now my colleagues across the country are saying this cannot continue to decimate.
So misery loves company. I guess that's what he's telling us. And as the misery grows, the company grows too.
Our cities in a real way. But the dollars that we're using with the trust is not going to be part of the pegs or the efficiency cuts that we must make. This is a different stream of money that is coming in so we can continue to move NYCHA forward. But I'm not going away when it comes down to protecting the city. New Yorkers are angry and their mayor is angry. What we're seeing with this $12 billion budget deficit over a 3-year period is something that New Yorkers should not have to sustain.
Right, and Mayor, I know New Yorkers are also angry about the waste. We keep hearing these reports.
There's no waste in Chicago, would there be? I'm sure there's no waste in New York City. Let's hear what he's got to say about it.
That thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of food being thrown away every day. In light of that, we're cutting our budget, of essential services, libraries, police officers, fire people.
If you've been injured in a car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app instead.
This is crazy. What can we do about the food situation that's being thrown in the garbage?
Well, think about it. We have over 150,000 migrant asylum seekers that went through our system. Over 50%.
Now he's going to talk about the open door, revolving door policy that they have implemented in New York City and how they're losing migrants. They're going somewhere. He doesn't know where they're going. He assumes they're becoming self-sufficient. I don't know about that, but the numbers are kind of staggering. So listen in.
We were able to have them self-sustain themselves, and with the 30-day notice, 80% did not return into our system. Only 20% did. Now, our obligation while they're in our care is to produce the food to feed them. Is it going to be filet mignon? No, it is not. It is going to be a basic meal.
Look at her expression there. Let's rewind that just a little bit. Look at her expression.
While they're in our care is to produce the food to feed them. Is it going to be filet mignon? No, it is not. It is going to be a
She
basic
knows it's
meal,
not, man.
And there are those who don't want that basic meal, and there are those that are stating that we should spend more money on meals, and we're not going to do that. We're giving people a basic
bag of
meal
chip
like
and
we
some
would
milk,
give
maybe.
anyone that needs to care, so we can be efficient with taxpayers' dollars. Now, it's unfortunate that there's some that take the meal, take 1 or 2 bites, and decide to discard it. That is not much we can do about that. We have to give them the basic items that are needed so we're not wasting taxpayers' dollars.
Mayor, today there's a...
So there you go. From the horse's mouth, from Eric Adams, talking about talking about the migrants. So let's do another one where they're going to show us the tents that they erected in New York City.
Crisis.
So let's listen to this. They're going to show us the tents and how people aren't really using them, but I guess they think they're going to be filled by maybe the end of the year.
The city giving an update on how many people have passed through its shelter system since last spring and how many they've helped apply for asylum.
Fox 5's Morgan McKay joins us now in studio. And Morgan, these numbers certainly paint a pretty startling picture.
You're exactly right, Steve and Natasha. This migrant crisis is far from over. And just last week, more than 3,800 migrants arrived here in the city.
It's very hard to keep up and to really get to stabilization.
More than 150,000 migrants have passed through New York City's shelter system since last.
So Chicago's numbers are 31,000 as of right now. Chicago or New York's got 5 times. Imagine they were giving hotel rooms out like candy for 150,000 migrants. Crazy. And somebody's paying for that. So let's hope Chicago heeds a warning and doesn't do the stuff that New York City did in the past and created that $4 billion deficit per year that they're projecting.
Spring, with more than 67,000 migrants currently in the city's care. The city does not keep track of where these migrants go.
Staggering numbers, 67,000.
More than 21,000 migrants apply for asylum.
When I was at the Roosevelt last night for a coat distribution and had the opportunity to give away, I think it was over 2,000 coats to children that are here.
2,000 coats in one day.
To plead with the federal government for more assistance. The shelter at the Floyd Bennett Field, which can house up to 2,000 migrants and was only opened about a month ago, is already housing around 1,400 people.
Looks like some nice dinners there. Shower, nice shower.
As the city runs out of room to house migrants,
nice bathrooms.
They've also been continuing their push with the state to lift the right to shelter mandate, which requires that the city
own
provide
private
shelter
room?
to anyone who needs it. Officials are currently arguing in court that this 1980s consent decree was never meant to apply to migrants. In response to this growing legal battle, the Coalition for the Homeless released.
So even New York City's starting to question its sanity, folks. Think about that. They've been through a hell of a run of 150. They've just been overrun with 150,000 migrants in the last year. Now they're starting to question their sanity and starting to maybe apply some common sense here. Rightfully so. They're wasting a lot of money on people that really shouldn't be here, and they're here illegally. And what are they going to provide to the city? You got to ask that.
Released this ad on Thursday.
If New York's legal right to shelter is dismantled, Thousands will be forced to live on our streets and in tent encampments. Imagine, is that the New York we want?
Maybe it'll just
Groups
go
like
away.
Coalition for the Homeless and Legal Aid have been urging not only the federal government to do more, but also the state. A spokesperson for Governor Kathy Hochul said, quote, she has invested nearly $2 billion in state funding for shelter and other resources, successfully pressured the Biden administration to grant TPS for Venezuelans, and opened up nearly 8,000 beds for migrants on state-owned or state-funded sites. Ex-Governor Andrew Cuomo, who resigned amid numerous scandals, also had his own criticism for his successor.
It's an abandonment by the federal government. It's compounded by the state government, which is missing in action.
So there you have it. Lots of numbers. What does it mean? It means you, the taxpayer, are on the hook for huge amounts of money, and you're not going to get anything in return. That's what it means. I'm here to tell you that. And let's go to the border. And again, there's no good news at the border. The border's overrun. Lukesville is now the epicenter of the border crisis. And they're working in Washington right now as we speak before they go away for the holidays, right? Our politicians always like to go home for the holidays. They do a little bit of work and then they go home. So anyway, let's look at what Lester Holt has to say about the border and specifically Lukesville in Arizona.
Congress debates changes in immigration policy. There's a new focus on a small town at the heart of the migrant crisis. Julia Ainsley is there for us.
Tonight, this is the new epicenter of the border crisis. Tiny Lukeville, Arizona, where the number of migrants is pushing Border Patrol past capacity.
Look at all these
More
people.
More than 9,000 illegal crossings along
Must
the
be
southern
giving away
border
something free.
Just yesterday. Nearly 3,000 of them in this area.
Behind me, there's a group of about 40 migrants, including young children, that were just brought in by Border Patrol after they called 911 because they were stranded in the desert.
Border agents so backed up, they're taking migrants to Tucson, where they're processed and most are released into the U.S.
Those are the ones that
Lukeville
come into
International
Chicago on a
Crossing now
plane,
closed
folks.
For 11 days due to overwhelming demand on border agents from migrants. Business owners say they're paying a price.
Last week we had made $5,000, which is what we usually would make within an 8-hour shift.
We find places along the border wall where smugglers cut holes for migrants. Yesterday, cutting through 16 times.
They mark the dates here where they fixed the breaches, and you can see this one was just fixed recently.
U.S. and Mexican officials tell NBC News one reason for the rise, Mexico's Border Patrol equivalent, is running low on funds and stopping fewer migrants. But Republicans blame President Biden's border policies for encouraging migrants to come and are demanding changes before they'll pass more funding for Ukraine. This tonight from the Border Patrol Union.
What we need to see from this administration is that they're serious about border security, because when you're allowing so many individuals to come across the border, that preoccupies a lot of agents.
President Biden calls GOP proposals extreme.
So think about the drugs that are coming across the border by hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Think about the people from 160 different countries who don't want to be caught and are coming across the border. A couple of days ago, we did a video on how the FBI is quaking in their boots. They know that there's terror cells in the United States now coming up with plans to do some evil to the United States. So keep your head on a swivel, folks. A lot of bad people out there. No one knows where they're at. And all we know is they came across the border. There's some folks we know. We check them as they come across, but there's other, we don't have systems that go to all 160 different countries. So even if we stop these people, sometimes we don't know who they really are and how bad they could be. So a lot of evil coming across the border, and it's probably heading towards a town near you sometime soon.
Migrants tell us they're desperate. We are tired. I had to carry my daughter so we could keep going, said Jacqueline from Ecuador. And this man said, we knew this was going to be hard. We do it for our families.
Now, Arizona's governor is asking President Biden to reassign National Guard so they can open that border crossing to traffic.
Thanks for watching.
So there you go. Chances are, if you meet somebody on the street or in a store and they're not speaking English, they're probably a migrant, and you want to watch out, folks. So that's all I have. Let's see where we're at here. We're 15 minutes in. Like to keep these as short as possible. If you could do me a favor, you like the content, you want some more, like, share, and subscribe. Land Cruiser Midwest. I am DJ Wonder Chrissy. This is Migrant Mayhem, and we're bringing it to you guys on a daily basis. So subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Over and out, DJ Wonder Chrissy. See ya.